Hello. Once again, this is Ed Mofrad, CPA, doing my interview for the Around the Valuation World part of the NACVA, a very important part of NACVA. And I'm here this time to interview Mr. Allyn Needham, who was kind enough to join us all the way from Fort Worth, Texas. He just finished a presentation, and there was a huge applaud for him. We thought he was a celebrity. We heard it several doors down. And so we're lucky to have him here. Mr. Needham is a partner in, why don't you go ahead and tell him the name of your firm?
Yes, our firm is Ship Needham Economic Analysis. My partner is Shannon Ship, another one of the presenters here today.
Wonderful. And his specialty, his expertise, if you will, is lost profits. In other words, people who feel they've been wronged, and as a result, not people, but firms. They've lost some profits. They go to him as an expert to do his analysis, his work, so that they'll have a stronger case against the defendants or the people that they're opposing or who are their adversaries. Can you tell me why you chose this particular topic for this conference?
I have been publishing a series of articles for Quick Read, the online article magazine for NACVA. And in visiting with them, they felt that there was a need for a class, a session, introducing calculations of lost profits. I know that a number of CPAs are looking at expanding their businesses into litigation support. Not just doing business valuation, but also doing lost profits calculations. So I wanted to bring some additional information to them about how you go about this process of calculating lost profits.
I see. And do you feel your audience got the main points?
I believe so. My presentation started with just a simple definition of what are lost profits, talking about net lost profits, but how that is a more complex question than one might think. But more importantly, we moved into talking about what the courts expect when we prepare calculations and put them into a report and it's presented to the judge before it goes to the jury. What they look for and the levels of critique to make sure that you check the boxes, per se, to be able to get past the gatekeeper and be able to present your information to the jury.
I see. And I wasn't there present, but I heard that huge uproar of applaud. Could you tell me what caused that?
Well, I think everybody was happy it was over.
I doubt it.
But it was a very good session. I'll be honest with you. A lot of good questions, a lot of dialogue about other people's experiences. It comes as a surprise to some people when they look at what the court's looking for, and so that creates a lot of questions. Just an example, there are three levels that the court looks at: foreseeability, probable causation, and certain calculations, reasonable certainty. A lot of experts don't realize that in lost profits they have to consider causation, which means you have to say, ooh, did these lost profits occur because of the action of the defendant, or maybe was there an economic downturn that caused the company to lose their profits? And an expert has to look at that when they're preparing their report. So as people find that out, then more questions are generated, and that led to a pretty robust meeting.
Before this interview, we had a brief discussion about your practice, and you told me 90% of the cases that are assigned to you are settled before they ever get to court. So my question is, do you feel they get settled because of you, because of the work that you do, because of the facilitation that you make between the plaintiffs and the defendants, or is it because of their own negotiations independent of you?
Well, ultimately, it's the negotiations that cause the settlement, but the reports that are prepared by the experts are very important in setting the foundation for those settlements. If I work on the plaintiff side and I make the calculations showing the loss, it sort of sets the table for what the expectations of the plaintiff should be as to what they might receive from a jury. On the other side, if I'm working for the defense and I'm critiquing the report prepared by the plaintiff's expert, it allows the plaintiff side to see the soft spots or the potential problems that they have in presenting their data to the court. And that then gives them the, as I say, the foundation to work back and forth to negotiate the final amount.
And you told me, and it hit me as a pleasant surprise, that you are not one of us. You're not a CPA, but you're an economist. May I ask you what drove you to get into this line of business? What even gave you the idea as an economist?
Well, it's interesting. I was in banking, and I had reached a point in banking where I'd hit the glass ceiling. I needed graduate degrees to move higher up. So I attended Texas Christian University, achieved my master's. I went on to another school and completed my PhD. And
which school did you go?
California Coast to get my PhD. It's a small college in California. And I then returned to Texas, and one of the faculty at TCU called me and said, "How would you like to be a consultant?" And that was 21 years ago. He had a small private consulting firm. We did personal damages, but we also did commercial damages. Because my graduate work was in financial economics, I moved more toward the business side of things, doing the commercial damages, business destruction, which would be a business valuation in litigious situations. And it's a wide open field. It's very complex, it's very competitive, and quite enjoyable once you get the hang of working with the court system.
What's your outlook in the next 10 years, let's say, for your line of business?
Everyone I have spoken with, both here at the conference and also in Texas, are very busy right now. As long as the economy is good, there is always a situation where one firm will feel they've been wronged by another and they're going to sue. Oddly enough, when the economy turns down, you see people realize the businesses don't have much money to either sue or to pay if they lose a lawsuit, and you see that business dry up some. But as long as the economy is expanding, I anticipate that all of our firms will continue to grow and be very busy.
Well, as a CPA and a CVA, it's very good and very interesting to hear a perspective of somebody other than one of our own. So I'm very glad I had this opportunity to talk with you today, and thank you very much. Hope you avail us of your expertise for a long time to come here at NACVA.
Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting me.